Hi, Internet. This video is going to be all about money and what my collection is worth and how I fund the collection. Now, if you're just here to know what the value of my collection is, and then you're going to click off and go watch something else, that's fine. I understand. I'm one of those people too. So I'll just give you that number. My collection is worth roughly $20,000. Okay, you can go click off and go watch something else if you don't want to stick around. If you do want to stick around and find out more about how I fund my collection, then, stick around. Okay, so now that those people who didn't want to hear the rest of this are gone, I fund my collection through mainly my job. I have been working full time since I left college back in 2018, and I've worked two jobs. The first job lasted about a year, and then the second job is where I'm currently at. I work as a programmer. That's my main duty. I'm not going to say where I work and stuff like that because, I don't want people to, dox me or anything. But that's where most of my funding comes from. In terms of other funding, it comes from getting rid of stuff here, selling and flipping. But I don't do a lot of that. I know there are people who say, I built my entire collection on flipping. I get bundles off of Facebook and eBay and then sell the usual stuff, and then my collection is basically always free. That's not how it works, unfortunately. Now, I'm not saying that can't work. That 100% could work. If you're one of those people who, goes to garage sales every single weekend and has just the best luck with Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist. Where I live, there's nothing. I maybe get one Facebook thing a year, if that, of actual tangible good stuff. The rest of it's just kind of bullcrap, and Craigslist out here is non-existent. So I can't even be bothered to check that. I check it once in a blue moon out of curiosity, and there's never anything up. So I can't really do that. And as far as garage sales, I live in the Midwest, so 60% of the year there just aren't garage sales. There's not much I can really do. Between September and April, there's just nothing because the weather's bad or no one's having any. So, there's not much I could do there. And even if I did go to a garage sale, there's always... I'm not one of those people who gets up at 6 a.m. on the weekends to go to garage sales in hopes of finding things. I take things as I go. I get up at whatever time I want to, and then if I do decide to go, I go. But that's not often. But that's okay. I'd say I've done pretty good for myself not flipping very much. And when I say flipping, I mean I take part of my collection to a guy who owns a shop that I sell stuff to him. I'm friends with him, and he gives me, pretty good value for my money, for my games. So that's how, if I want to get something big, or if I need to knock out some bills, I'll take some of my collection to him and sell him. But the rest of it is just me buying stuff. It's as simple as that. There's just some rules you have to follow. If you're someone who doesn't have a collection or is just starting out and wants to, And this applies to everything, not just video games. It could be any type of collection: stamps, comic books, Funko Pops, whatever you want to collect. You don't have to go for broke. Get the basics first. I have a whole wall behind the camera that's just basic N64 games, basic SNES games, basic NES games. You don't need to have Conker's Bad Fur Day. You don't need to have that Clay Fighter game for N64 that's worth an abundance. You don't need to have, what's another one? Worms Armageddon for N64 that's worth like $300. You don't have to have Super Bowling, which is worth like $900. Just get the basics. They're going to continue to go up in value over time. Donkey Kong 64. I believe I paid $20 for that, and I think now it's worth $30. So, that's a win. Do not spend above your means. Seriously. They're just games. It doesn't matter in the long run. And I don't mean to sound like cynical or anything, but they're just video games. Don't feel like you have to spend money. Just buy what you think you can afford. If you're not interested in the investment part of it, and you're just looking for something to have fun with, then sure, buy, an occasional expensive game that you want to play, and play it. But if you're just buying to buy, that's what I fell into a couple months ago. If you remember a couple videos back, I posted a video that I sold half my collection. That was mainly games, and I got rid of a lot of the N64 consoles that were here. Because I fell into that habit of just buying to buy. And that's not good. That's not healthy. That's not constructive. That's not how you make a good collection. That's how you become a hoarder. And there's a quote that I love that I read online forever ago. Collection without curation is hoarding. Now, obviously, some people wouldn't call this hoarding. Hoarding is where you can't move and you have to have every scrap of everything laying around, and you can't leave anything off the table. You have to have it. I don't know. It's crazy to me to see like these game collections on YouTube. Don't get me wrong, they're impressive. I love it. But especially the people that collect, what are they? The demo kiosks? I don't really understand that. I know there's one that I saw where a lady had like 60 demo kiosks in her basement. I just don't get that. I don't. But, I mean, more power to her. If she can afford it and she can do it and it's not, causing any issues, then go for it. I'm kind of rambling at this point, I can tell. Yeah, so I have two games in front of me here. One is the most expensive game I own in my collection. And the other is the most I've ever spent on a game. Now, they're two separate games. Currently, Chrono Trigger is the most expensive game I own. However, I spent $20 more on Clock Tower for the PS1. However, Chrono Trigger has since gone up in value. So, this game, if I were to sell it right now, Chrono Trigger, would net me the most profit. This game, I don't think I can ever get rid of. This was such a bucket list buy that I don't know if I can get rid of it. I'd have to be liquidating everything to get rid of this, and even still, I doubt I would. In terms of consoles, let's see. The Series X I have out in my living room is probably the most expensive because I have the box and everything still. I have to look into that. I'm not entirely sure. But anyways, this whole video was just meant to be what's my collection worth, which is, again, roughly 20 grand, and how I fund it. Just remember the basic rules. Don't spend more than you can. Don't go crazy. Just, if you go a week without buying a game, you go a week without buying a game. It's fine. And have fun. That's the main thing. Don't just collect to collect. Start by picking a system like, I don't know, PS2. There's tons of games for the PS2. Start there, and then, eventually you'll want to collect for a different system. Like, maybe you'll want to collect Dreamcast, and then PS1, and then PS4, and then Switch, or something like that. Just have fun with it. And, yeah. Just don't go crazy. Thank you very much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Support me on Ko-fi, which is just a sort of like a, I don't know how to describe it, a tipping service. You don't pay a subscription or anything. You're not, like, subscribed to the channel. You have to pay a monthly fee. It's just, like, if you want to, like, send $1 my way or something like that. But only if you want to, obviously. And, yeah, thank you very much for watching.